US government shook the world of immigration, not just with a small policy tweak, but with a sweeping suspension of visa processing for citizens of 75 countries. This decision is set to take effect on January 21st, 2026, was announced by the US Department of State and has left millions asking the same urgent question: what happens to people who already have appointments, visas in progress, or plan to travel? What just happened? The US has officially announced an indefinite pause on visa processing for citizens of 75 countries starting January 21st, 2026. This is not a short delay. The State Department has not set an end date, meaning processing could remain on hold until a full reassessment of screening procedures is completed. The move comes amid a broader shift in US immigration policy, where the government is, placing increased emphasis on what it calls the public charge rule, a legal framework that allows authorities to deny visas to applicants they believe may rely on public assistance or government benefits once in the US. The policy targets immigrant visas, the type of visas that leads to permanent residency, often called green cards, and does not officially cover tourist, study, or business visas, though enhanced scrutiny could still affect the overall application process. So who do these rules affect? The suspension impacts citizens from countries spanning Africa, Asia, Latin America, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. The full list includes nations like Afghanistan, Brazil, Iran, Nigeria, Russia, Somalia, Thailand, Yemen, and dozens more from around the world. For many people, especially those applying for permanent residency, spouse or family visas, or other long-term immigration statuses, this means their applications might no longer move forward after January 21st. But what about those with existing appointments? This is the part everyone is asking about. If you already have an appointment scheduled before January 21st, 2026, if your interview has been confirmed, if your paperwork is already in the system, here is what current official guidance suggests. Appointments remain scheduled, but visas won't be issued. According to the latest information, immigrant visa applicants can still, attend their interviews, and consular posts around the world may still book interviews, but those interviews will not lead to visa issuance as long as the suspension is in effect. In simple terms, yes, you can still go for your scheduled appointment. No, you likely will not receive your visa yet if you are from one of the 75 countries covered. This creates a situation where appointments might still happen, but consular officers will refuse visa issuance under the current post policy. And the second is pending cases don't get auto-cancelled. Importantly, authorities have not said that pending applications, those already filed and waiting for an interview, are automatically denied forever. Instead, these cases are being put on hold while the State Department reassesses its visa screening and public charge evaluation process. So, if your case was already in progress before the pause starts, it should theoretically still be in the system. This might mean your interview is delayed or rescheduled. You won't get a final decision until the review is complete. You may receive new requests, for evidence, financial proofs, or more detailed screening. Already issued visas are still valid. If you already have a valid visa in your passport issued before January 21st, 2026, that visa is not being revoked just because of this new suspension. The pause applies to visa issuance and processing, not to existing travel authorizations. This means you can still travel to the US with a visa that was already issued. You can still enter the US if that visa is valid. The policy change affects new visas and pending cases, not old ones already approved. Why is the US doing this? The US government's stated aim is to tighten immigration screening by enforcing and expanding the public charge concept, essentially preventing admissions of people who might rely heavily on public welfare or government benefits after arriving in the United States. Officials argue that this will strengthen national security checks, ensure immigrants are financially self-sufficient, then reduce perceived burdens on US social systems. Critics, however, warn that the policy could disproportionately affect people from less wealthy nations, slow family reunification, and legal immigration pathways, create uncertainty for students, spouses, and workers awaiting residency. Whether you support or oppose the policy, its implications are wide-ranging and will unfold over time. So what happened next? With no end date set, this policy remains in effect indefinitely. That means visa interview could be postponed. USCIS benefit applications may be held for review. Consulates may return applications or require resubmission. People who already invested time and money into travel plans, including flights, appointment fees, relocation plans, may see significant delays. Those waiting for family-based visas, employment-based visas, and other categories are now in a state of uncertainty. There are a few key points to remember. Dual nationals. If you hold citizenship of a country not on the list and one that is, you might be eligible to process a visa using the passport of the non-listed country. Non-immigrant visas, tourist, business, and student visas are not officially part of this pause, but consulates could still tighten vetting overall. Humanitarian exceptions. Some exceptions cases, example are urgent medical treatments, US national security interest may still be considered, but these are rare and not guaranteed. On a final note, if you already have a valid US visa, you can still travel and enter the US. If you have a pending application or appointment, processing is likely paused until further notice. If your travel plan depends on permanent residency, expect delays and possible rescheduling. If you have dual citizenship with a non-listed country, you might still be able to proceed. Above all, keep monitoring official US government sources like travel.state.gov and uscis.gov for real updates, not social media speculation. Drop a comment if you or someone you know has been affected. Share this video to inform friends and family who might be impacted. Subscribe for ongoing updates because this policy is evolving fast. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.